The United Nations says the humanitarian disaster in the Horn of Africa is getting worse by the day. The World Bank's coming to the rescue, quadrupling its funding to $2 billion to help tackle the worst drought in the region for 6 decades. Millions of people are starving and many more are fleeing their homes to find food and shelter. Africa correspondent Ginny Stein spent 10 days in northern Kenya and filed this report.
Northern Kenya is desperately thirsty. It's hard to believe that not long ago this river valley was underwater. A brief flash flood washed through following heavy rains high up in the mountains. But a month is a long time in a bone-dry land which has suffered through successive droughts.
This is the worst drought ever. It is like a double tragedy as it comes straight after the last drought. There's nowhere to go. The only thing we have now is water from rains that fell far away. We just got some water in the Milgis River. That is why we are here.
People here have lived life as nomadic pastoralists for centuries and depend heavily on their herds for their livelihood. They've borne the brunt of changes in the weather. During this drought, Nangtura Lepakosh has seen all his cattle die. In this part of Kenya, with no electricity and no banks, wealth is held in livestock.
Livestock and wildlife are the first to die. Then their owners will follow. The reason humans are the last to die is that they may get relief food from the government.
A state of emergency has been declared in northern Kenya, but there's been virtually no assistance to hit the ground. With a population out of reach and constantly on the move, the government has long ignored this part of Kenya. These herders and their families know they have to keep moving if they and their livestock have any chance of survival. Sunny Muhammad Abdi has travelled hundreds of kilometres in the past few weeks.
Because of these animals, because there is a lot of drive, there is no grass, and just came to find a grass here within this area of just the neighbour people.
Abdi has travelled from near the Somali border. He's one day away from making it to market. He knows rustling and banditry is commonplace in this part of the country. Security is one of his biggest fears.
That's why I came here now. I've got some soldiers who can help me to travel from my place to here.
Waterholes are now few and far between and decreasing by the day. At this spot, livestock arrive like clockwork, a relentless stream of thirsty animals and their owners. Cattle have been reduced to a few bony survivors, the land offering little to keep them alive. A few months ago, Lakalo Lentapan considered himself a lucky man. Over the years, he'd built up a large herd of cattle. Now, all he's got left are some goats.
I lost everything. I don't think I will ever have such a large herd again.
It wasn't drought, but rustlers who struck the last blow. They stole the last of his herd. He was shot when he tried to get them back. His partner was killed. 5 others were injured.
Our neighbours steal our livestock and they go and resell them, and they keep their livestock for themselves. They sell ours to get money. They don't keep for themselves, they just sell it.
In this increasingly desperate times, livestock, people and wildlife are all competing for survival.
Is this good? Yeah.
On the edge of the Kasuat Desert, a dam filled from an underground bore keeps locals alive. But there's no longer any pasture.
Yes, there are so many zebra tracks around, especially near the water point. So it seems that there are so many of them present within the area.
Livestock have all but disappeared from here. Community rangers are doing their best to help the hardiest wildlife that remains, including one of the last herds of endangered greavy zebra.
They have already have some of the hay. That's good.
The relentless quest for water and pasture has placed incredible pressure on wildlife. Rangers dig deep to keep animals alive.
The scouts say that there are 3 elephants just came to the water point. They dig the place you see the water. So they dug it, and I think they went towards that direction.
It's to the Morilli weekly market that camel and goat herders have trekked hundreds of kilometres. Stock is being sold out of desperation.
To eat, we depend on these animals. So I'm afraid if the drought continues to be like this, harsh to us, obviously our life will be dilemma.
Cattle were once the lifeblood of this market, but there are very few left in this part of the country. Most of the animals here, camels and goats, are all that remain. Many have travelled hundreds of kilometres. There's no going back. They have to be sold.
I think from now up to October, because there is no grass that the animals are depending on, people also will be in problem, in shit, because animals will die and even it will affect our living because we depend on these animals.
The people of northern Kenya have for centuries relied on the land to provide for them, but that system is failing. They know their lives need to change, but finding new ways to survive when all around you is dying looks set to be the ultimate challenge.
And altogether, a staggering 13 million people in the Horn of Africa are being affected by this crisis. Ginny Stein there in Kenya.